Okay, so I'm gonna do a story time of my time that I was a cast member at Disneyland in Anaheim, California, and working for the mouse and my experience personally. I was happy to be working there when I got hired. It took almost 2 months for me to actually start working. When I did, I was so happy, but then oh, you have to be on time, you can't be late, because if not, you have to pay yourself those minutes that you're gonna be late. If you were gonna be more than 5 minutes late, then you would have to pay yourself. Thankfully I was never late to work. I was always there on time, because I knew that you have to follow the rules, if not you get in trouble. So I was working there, and I was working in Carsland. I was in Cozy Cone Motel. I had the best cast members, co-workers. They were the best. No complaints about them. However, the managers there are a piece of shit. Honestly, they don't care about you. Disney HR clearly doesn't give a shit about you or the issues that you have with the managers there. You complain to HR and they don't do anything about the managers there. If you know, there's obviously, but yeah, he's the worst. Management there sucks. Honestly, I can see why people quit all the time and they don't last working there, because of the managers and the way that you're treated. Yeah, so when I got the chance to work over at festivals, oh my god, it was the best time. I loved it. The managers there were very helpful. They really do care about their cast members. No como the Cozy Cones managers, that they don't give a flying tuck about you. In Cozy Cones, they overwork you and you always get injured all the time. And then they get mad because you're injured and you can't really work because you're injured and you can't do much. So obviously you're gonna be in restrictions, and that's what they don't like right there, that you're on restrictions and stuff like that. So yeah, so it was a horrible experience. To some of my fellow ex-co-workers that used to work there know how it is, and I'm not lying about how it is working for the mouse there and my experience in Carsland. Yeah, it's horrible. It is very horrible, but like I said, I liked working at Disney and all that, but just working there, it was horrible. Don't get me wrong, I did have some very great moments. Not all managers are horrible there. There's 3 that I can name that weren't bad. They would help you genuinely, but there's some that they just don't give a shit. And I don't know, working for Disney is really fun. You get to meet a lot of people. If you work in festivals, you get to meet other people from Disneyland side and DCA side. So you become friends with them. Overall, it's a good experience. But for me, I had enough when would pick on me all the time for no reason, knowing that I had a tattoo and others had tattoos, but they weren't being told to cover them up. It was just basically me. So he was discriminating me. I don't know, for some reason why. He probably hated me. I'm not sure. But there was always favoritism there. And yeah, everyone had their favorites. So if you got along with certain managers and stuff like that, you would be their favorites. They would be laughing with you all the time, treating you nice. Personally, for me, I would never like kiss up to any manager. Why? Because there's no need. I'm only there to work. Work is work, and there was a need for me to be there. Oh, hi, how are you doing? Oh, what did you do this weekend? No. No. Work is work. You're not there to be BFFs with any manager or any lead. You just go there and do your work. But festival managers, they were really, really nice. They cared about their cast members. When we were busy, festival managers would go and help us out, like distribute food, take orders, and all that good stuff. And then once, we used to have our registers inside the cones, but then all of a sudden they wanted to change it outdoor. They did, but they wouldn't provide us with cushion mats to be standing on our feet for 8+ hours or 6 hours plus, depending how your shift was. We all complained to the union about it, because who's gonna want to stand on their feet without support on the bottom? Like, at least provide us with chairs, or at least the mats on the floor. But it took a while for us to finally get that approved. Knowing Disney makes a bunch of money in one day. Their tickets are pricey and everything, they want to upsell you. So they should have had the budget to get some mats for their cast members. It took a while. We never got our when I was there, we never got the support for our feet, the mats. We did get some chairs, but they said that we were only supposed to use it when it was busy. Yeah, I'm not gonna be standing on my feet for 4 hours, 3 hours, waiting until it gets busy so that I can sit down. No, that's not gonna happen. Overall, we were all complaining because our feet were hurting, and they wouldn't do anything about like getting us support for our feet, especially if you're working like in the food and it's very hot. Obviously you're gonna want like AC, something, because during summer it's gonna get hot, and working outside with only like a shade above you does not work, because then the sun rotates. So on your right side or your left side, the sun is gonna hit you. Obviously it's gonna get hot. So we would all complain about that. We could bring water bottles, but it would have to be Disney approved, which I think it had to be all black, no logo, no stickers, and wait for part 2. So just in my experience, if I were ever to work at Disney, which I am never going to after my experience working in Cozy Cone Motel, no. And then it also, working for the mouse also kills the magic. So if you're a Disney person working for the mouse, it's gonna kill that magic. Cast members are right when they say, oh, working there it kills the magic. It does. There's also great moments. There's good benefits. Um, Obviously, you get 16 main entrants for your family or your friends. You get to do cast member events, which is pretty cool. But overall, if you ever decide to work at Disneyland, I don't recommend you to transfer or to work at Cozy Cones. That's going to be a big mistake. Talking from my experience and what I went through, cause yeah. And there was this one incident where this manager made me cry, and I'm not gonna say names because I don't want them to get in trouble, but there was two leads that they know who they are, that saw me when I was crying, because this manager had talked to me about the tattoo, and I don't know why he thought that there was a need for like a second talk that same day with the leads. And when they came up to me, I was like, oh, he had already talked to me about the tattoos. And they were like, oh, well, I don't know why he wants us to talk to you again. And that's literally when I broke down crying, because it's not fair that it's only me that they were picking at, but not the other cast members that weren't covering up their tattoos. When I got hired, they never mentioned anything about not having tattoos. If they don't want anyone with tattoos, why hire people in the first place with tattoos? But yeah, there's a lot that goes on as a cast member that people don't see, guests don't see. We deal with so much, especially at the Cozy Cones, that I love some of the cast members there. But the management there sucks. Disney HR sucks. They don't help you. The union clearly doesn't give a shit about you. All they care about is for you to just be paying, I think, to be part of the union, because from what I remember is that you had to pay for the union, which I don't remember how much, but it sucks. It just sucks. That's why people don't last at the Cozy Cones. That's why there's always new faces. Props to the people who have stayed and have dealt with everything going on. Especially, I still keep in touch with some of my co-workers, and they tell me that stuff is still the same, nothing has changed. Yeah, that there's a lot of like people with restrictions because of their injuries. My guess is that they don't have enough people, so they're overworking them. And I feel like nothing there is ever going to change. It's always going to stay the same. Yeah, unless, I don't know if working on Disneyland side, it's different than working in Carsland. But if you work in Carsland, props to you. Be brave, be strong, cause yeah. like I said, I like working at festivals because the managers there are really, really nice, and I feel like they do care about us because they would always bring us waters. They would always talk to us, take their time and say, "Oh, how are you doing? How's this? How's that?" And Carsland it just sucks. Most people that used to work at Disney are scared to talk about working at Disney, but for me it's like I don't care anymore. Mentally I'm already green, but when I was there, like I didn't want to go to work anymore. Going to work was like emotional for me, so I would go to work, but mentally I wasn't okay with everything that I was going through of working there and not being fair. It just made me not want to go to work anymore. So as I talked to HR, I made a complaint to work labor. They never did anything about it. And I feel like other cast members are afraid to speak. They're afraid to speak about it, which is understandable. But so there was a point in life where I was like, you know what? Why am I going to be going to work and be dealing with all this if I'm not even happy going to work anymore? I'm like, is it worth it for me to be stressing mentally, physically? So I'm gonna be honest, there was just a point in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop going. And I did stop going to work. I was giving away my shifts to other cast members that needed the hours because they weren't getting enough hours. So I was like, okay, if I'm not gonna be going to work anymore, might as well give away all my hours to people who actually need it. So that's what I did. And then I just stopped going. I honestly did not care if I was a no call, no show. Disney never did anything for the issues that I was going through, because like I said, they don't care. They just care about you working and taking out the business. So I basically quit. I did not even give my 2-week notice. They're not even worth it. So yeah, I just stopped going, and ever since I left Disney, I've been way better in life. I've been stress-free. I've been more happy, and I don't miss it at all. I just miss like seeing those people that you get close with, but for some of them I still keep in touch. But that was my Disney experience, my experience as a cast member. Everyone is entitled to say their own opinion. Till the next time, bye.